Welcome to week 3 of the PUL. I'm Andrea DeSabato alongside Emma Soils. Did I say that right? Okay.
Absolutely.
It is a rainy, chilly day. Philly has not had any weather like this in like 2 weeks. It has been hot, and of course, for our home opener, this is what we get, and this is why we play. So as I said, this is the Surge home opener. It's a unique location for the team. They are normally playing in the city limits of Philadelphia and South Philly. This game is in Conshohocken, so just outside the city. Both teams have played one game already. The Strike are 0-1. Surge are 1-0. We are getting a look at the field now. It is a grass surface today, so the league has been pushing more towards using grass surfaces. Emma is also the PUL commissioner, also a founder of Surge. Also, fun fact, still holds the record for Ds in a game for Surge after not even playing for 2 years. So.
Yeah, very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Trey. I'm very excited about this contest. I know Minnesota played a game last night in New York, which I was also at, and it was very cold and windy there. These conditions aren't much better.
Yeah, the game last night was really low scoring.
Super low
scoring.
It
was 4-3 at halftime, 11-7 final. What do you attribute that really low score to? Was it just weather conditions? Were there a million turnovers? What happened?
I think wind was probably the primary factor there, but definitely there's some really good defense. I saw bids all over the field all game. It was probably the most exciting, low-scoring game I've ever seen. Bodies were hitting the deck everywhere.
So throughout this broadcast, we'll be asking Emma both questions about the game at hand and also questions about the PUL.
Yeah.
So because she is the commissioner of the entire league, she's got all of the info, and it is her first year as that. So she's founded a team, played on a team, 2 different teams, DC and Philly, and is now the commissioner. So got a lot of experience here that we're working with. We are looking at the disc flip now. So the captains will meet here to determine O or D, or which side of the field. It's not too windy here today. I don't know that it's an upwind, downwind game, at least yet. It is mostly a drizzle right now, so it'll probably be a OD decision more than a wind factor decision.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how the grass holds up in this weather. I know it's just a drizzle, but even that can really have an impact, and the field can get pretty muddy and slippery, so we might see some loose footing and a bit more action on the turf.
Surge is coming off of a win against Nashville, which had a lot of rain delays before playing, so they're a little bit used to these conditions. And then Minnesota, too, playing yesterday, their second game. Surge has had a break. What do you think as a player, these back-to-back weekends, especially for a travel team?
They're really tough. Of course, they're always really tough. I think, obviously, a lot of the players in the PUL also play club, and they're used to playing, 6 to 7 games in a weekend. But in the PUL, it's different. Every single point, the intensity is so high that just one game can take everything out of the tank. So coming into back-to-back is always really, really hard. But I think that Minnesota absolutely has the ability and the tenacity to make this a really close, competitive game.
Yeah, it can be tough for road teams. I know that sometimes they travel with a shorter, smaller roster too, usually between 14, 18 players. So you're only getting a couple subs in that situation, so back-to-back can be tough. But with the nature of the league as it is, those games kind of have to be scheduled in close succession like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Looking at our fans, a lot of umbrellas, so it is not terrible conditions right now. It's drizzling, but got a decent crowd out here.
And I think the Philly fans are used to trickling in as the game starts, so I'm sure the stands will fill up a little bit more as the game gets underway.
We will be looking at the Surge D line to start, and Minnesota will be receiving. It will be Lindsay McKenna on the PUL with Faye Epstein, Zoe Costanza, Graham Cunningham, Rachel Alfano, Chelsea Semper, and Liv Steinberg. Surge this season is coming with a bit of a different roster than they've had in the past. So a lot of new young faces, a lot of different people, a couple exciting travel players.
Yeah, last I played for Surge was in 2024, and the roster is considerably different to the last time I played, but I'm very excited to see all the youth coming in and a lot of new exciting players.
Yeah, it's very good for Surge to have some of that turnover, to have some new life, some new energy, new experience and perspective brought to the team this year. So we're really looking forward to seeing that play at our first home game. Lindsay McKenna on the pull.
First throw, first turn.
Liv Steinberg reads that play pretty well, runs through, gets the block.
Oh, looks like Minnesota's in a zone off their O-line, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, it's always been interesting when teams have done that. I've never actually played on a team that has done that, but it does certainly surprise D-lines to have to play zone O because they don't get a ton of reps in that situation.
Absolutely.
Especially conditions like this, it could be really useful, that wet disc. So a lot more passes needed in the zone. It's a good strategy by Minnesota.
Surge seems to be handling it pretty well so far. Lots of quick passes and moving the disc pretty nicely side to side.
46, Graham Cunningham with the disc now. New player, you know her probably from DC Shadow, also from U24 gold medalist. Surge is thrilled to have her this year. She moved to Philly from the DC area and brings a lot of experience and a lot of poise and discipline behind the disc. Really great throws. So we're excited to have
really hardworking as well. I've trained with her a few times, and she's, great player.
Zoe Costanza now with the disc, former Haverford College standout and Donovan Award nominee. Catches your first goal for the first break of the game.
Wow, what a score. What a way to start the game for Surge.
Despite not having a huge crowd, it is pretty loud here. We can hear a lot of good energy. During these games, it's really important to have that energy because it can be a drag to play and to be cold. And so it's nice to have that noise.
Let's check out the replay here. You can see, I think that's Zoe Costanza with the disc on the sideline. Nice give and go, and then a beautiful placement by Lindsay McKenna. What a throw.
In the PUL, you are allowed to call timeouts to sub in your team. I like the decision there from head coach Bobby Roos to not call a timeout and to first play of the game. Let the D-line see if they can work up, get acclimated. What do you think about that?
They did a great job, especially as we mentioned, Minnesota threw that zone off their O-line, and that can be really discombobulating or confusing for a D-line offense, and they handled that so maturely and so calmly, and that's a really good sign to see.
Our first look at the Minnesota O-line here. Admittedly, is a little bit tough for us to see their numbers from where we are in the booth, and we are not as familiar with their names. We will do our best, but want to make that disclaimer now that the numbers are a little bit tougher to read, and so we will see what we can do numbers-wise. Ekstrom picks up.
Wow, that's a great throw.
To Sarah Monshine. Surge in a little bit of a junk zone here, too.
Yeah. Let's see how Minnesota handles this. So far, so good.
Nice swing from Jane Cook down the line there, getting the disc going. Great D there by Chelsea Semper, just enough to reach out and get her hand in there.
Lisa Deng, another player coming over from Shadow, playing for Surge now.
There is a Shadow to Surge pipeline, and a bunch of, before Surge was a team, we had a couple players play for Shadow as well. So.
Lindsay McKenna, I believe.
Yeah, Lindsay, Linda, Raha,
yeah.
Zafari, yeah, a bunch of players.
Nice layout. What an amazing dead.
Really nice D there by Cook.
That's a really tough play, but well executed and very clean. Ooh, and that's the conditions, the weather conditions coming into play, although it looks like there may have been a call.
Melinda Alvey to pick up.
Nice floaty pass down the line. Ralph just at the doorstep. Wow, that cut. And that's another break.
Unfortunate drop there for Ekstrom of the strike. Working it pretty patient. That's one of those that's just, right out of the hands, maybe a little bit too wet, too many drops on the disc. We will get a different strike O-line, it looks like. They are not playing many players back to back, so if that's their starting O-line, this looks like either it's a D-line that they're putting in on O or an O2 potentially.
Yeah. We're seeing Mia Beeman-Weber and Daniel Byers on the line right now, and they both had fantastic games last night in New York, so really excited to see them play today.
We have a couple of different D-line players for their Surge. Now on the line, Emily Moeller to PUL with Colleen Morton, Lisa Dang, Liv Steinberg, Gwen Rao, Graham Cunningham, and Abby Thompson. Those two names were said back-to-back a lot as they were Ohio State teammates previously and are now roommates and teammates in Philly again.
Another junky zone here from Surge.
Johnson with the disc in the center of the field.
I always find it curious how teams handle zones, whether they try and work through the middle of the field or work it side to side and then look to strike down the sidelines. Wow, there's a big bid from Emily Moeller.
Just snuck it in there. This is good patience for the strike O-line here.
Absolutely.
Really doing a great job swinging it back and forth, and the Surge defense is having trouble catching up to the disc on either side.
Really well worked goal right there. I believe that was Mia Beeman-Webster with the goal there. Excuse me.
Beeman-Weber scoring, putting strike on the board, 2-1 game.
Another nice zone offense there.
The Discraft Ultra Star is the official disc of the league Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. Breakmark. This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Breakmark Ultimate Apparel. Go to breakmark.com to place your next custom team order or check out the PUL Athlete Collab shops.
Short pull here from Minnesota. They look to trap Surge on the sideline, but Surge getting out of it pretty quickly. Very nice D by number 4 there on Minnesota. This is a chance for Minnesota to get a break back, which is important.
A pick called on the downfield defender. So many of the turnovers so far have been just out of reach a little bit. It's been a couple under Ds, something just off the hands of the receiver.
And you have to wonder if the weather was better, if it was dry or a little bit warmer, less wind, whether those would have been completed. Nice run through block from Linda Morse there. Such a classic Linda move there.
Milligan to pick up.
Wow,
Just
big bid.
out of reach of Grace Maroon. Foul called on the mark. No contest. And a long shot from Linda Morse to Sarah Hiernet. Two
Wow.
people that have played together for many years on this team. They know where each other's going to be. Linda Morse has developed into much more of a thrower for this team as well now, too.
Absolutely. I think it's really cool to see how much better her throws have gotten as the years have gone on in the league, and that one right there was perfect.
The goals so far have been a lot of same third, tight upline throws. There hasn't been a ton of nothing away shot yet. No real away shots or far shots. No one's testing that yet. I'm wondering which is going to be the first team to go a little bit bolder and take more of an away shot. That was close, but it was also just more of a longer upline.
Absolutely.
Probably our furthest pull of the game so far, trapping Minnesota on the sideline, but they have no trouble immediately going inside to the center of the field. So the idea to trap them on the sideline maybe didn't go as planned because it got immediately off to a great field position by Strike. Really nice inside throw there by Minnesota. Nice break flick around, looking to continue the disc.
Right through the fingers. That's a tough one.
Melinda Alvey to pick up to McKenna. There's the first shot away, the first away look of the game.
Lindsay, I'm sure, would like that one back.
Yeah, someone had to do it though, so I think she's usually willing to be the one to take the shot.
As she
Byers
should.
with the disc. Now looking downfield. Byers another one. Lindsay and Byers college teammates, but Byers another one that would probably look to throw it downfield too if she had a cut there. There we go, another.
Wow. What a throw. Oh my goodness, what a layout.
Really nice away shot there by Beeman Weber. They saw their teammate cutting with yards to the end zone and put it on a platter.
Perfectly executed throw and a beautiful layout to put an exclamation point on that play.
Really nice closing speed there. Really well-timed cut. And a nice extension on the layout. Breaks away from McKenna and Epstein. Goal there by number 2, Dolly. They finally, here we have another look at it again. So Lindsay McKenna took the first one and then didn't work out, and then now Strike is on the board with it. our second look at the Surge O-line.
A lot of teams might shy away from hooks in the rain, but I'm glad to see both Minnesota and Surge taking shots and testing the defense out.
Normile and Morse working the disc in the backfield.
Really nice quick movement between the two of them right there. Grace Maroon going deep.
Now the away shots are here. They're live. Maroon catching it on the end zone. K-Spa with a throw to Taylor Conroy for the goal.
Wow. Wow. Another bid. Beautiful.
You think it's something about the grass or conditions that everyone's very excited to hit the deck this game?
I'm sure the ground's a little softer than it normally would be, which always makes it a little bit easier. Plus, the rain makes the surface really slick, which helps with those slides and prevents turf burn, so I'm sure folks are a little more willing than usual.
Yeah, we heard from the Minnesota strike coach that they were very excited that it was a grass field, and we have a lot of players that have had more injuries on turf, have had a lot of turf burn, have to wear a lot of protective clothing in turf. So we've gotten a lot of positive feedback on the grass conditions, grass surfaces.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on this earlier in the broadcast, but we do have somewhat of a preference for grass fields when able, just because primarily, honestly, injury prevention. And there's some studies starting to show that turf fields might actually be a cause for increased injuries. So when possible, we try and have teams play on grass.
Johnson picking up in the center of the field, gets it back up line for an away shot to Byers. Really tight coverage there.
It's a great D.
By Taylor Conroy. Excuse me, that was not Byers, that was Regan.
I believe that was Lisa Deng with the D also.
Colleen Morton. Little too high.
2-3 efforts there.
Immediate strike from the strike.
It's lightning quick. Oh. Seems to be a stall call.
A injury, I believe. It's an injury call on that bid. Long time there to get the injury sub on the field. Now, I know the league doesn't always like when there's a split sideline. Do you have a stance on that? It's helpful for the team to have people over there talking, but it can be harder to get messages in there.
I know in other sports it's maybe not as common, but in Frisbee culture, I think it's very normalized, and so for me personally, I don't have too much of a big issue with it, but I think that's something that we'll kind of continue to monitor as we go forward. Really nice offense there. That was beautiful from Strike.
Strike brings it to within one. Another look at this here. There's a lot of players in one concentrated area. There hasn't been, I don't know if it's part of the junk looks or people are just staying close because they aren't unsure of the conditions, but it seems like on both sides of both teams right now are staying very close together. No one is really stretching it out, playing to space, going to back corners, going to the back of the end zone. Everyone's kind of huddled to the front.
Very congested, but another assist there from Mia Beeman-Weber.
Nice pull there from Strike. Milligan picks up the disc.
Ooh, floaty pass. K-Spa reads that well.
Poppy Wagner in the middle of the field to her college teammate Grace Maroon. Shout out UPenn Venus. Both captains, maybe, of the team? Maybe not.
I believe so, yeah.
Teammates nonetheless. And then a third on the team, Abby Smith, is also on Surge. There's a nice Penn College contingent this year. Morse up to Conroy. Great block there on the mark.
Nice hand block. Those plays always fire me up.
A little bit of a casual throw there from Conroy. Had to kind of get it a little bit further back behind the mark, so that's a really nice mark to get a piece of that.
Oop, there's another away huck. 2 Ds there from Surge.
It's a nice cut there by Jane Cook going deep. Had steps, had space, just couldn't hit her.
Seems like the observers are asking to put a little more time back on the clock there.
Ooh.
They're just being checked back in with 40 seconds to go in the first. And actually, one change that we made to the rule book this season is all of the quarters now end with final possession. Last year and the year before, the fourth quarter ended as a buzzer beater, but wow, nice goal there. But this year, all quarters end in final possession.
Yeah, so 21 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and they will play it out after the time. So when the 21 seconds is over, whoever has the disc can still just play the point out until there is a turnover after that.
Lightning quick offense from Surge there, off the stoppage. You can see some of the throw here and the defensive effort from Surge. You can see a lot of people throwing their bodies and making sure to get the disc on the ground and getting that D.
Really nice break there from Poppy Wagner to open up the field to get it to the break side.
Beautiful throw, truly.
You mentioned new rules this year. There's been a couple. There's also a new penalty rule. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we took a look at our dangerous play policy and decided that it wasn't stringent enough and it wasn't enough of a penalty for the offending team and player. And so now, in addition to a card, there's also a, generally speaking, 10-yard advantage for the team that was the recipient of the dangerous play.
Yeah, so now they will get, it's similar to the UFA. The UFA has always had that rule. On a dangerous play, if the observer awards a dangerous play, you will get a 10-yard penalty. And there's also a paywall this year, which I know is somewhat controversial, but very useful for the team and league, which I think you can maybe speak to that a little bit as well.
Yeah, I think this is something that's been coming for a while now, and we're still trying to make the league and the games as accessible as possible. So this game is actually our game of the week, so this is free. But our other games this weekend were behind a paywall. However, within typically 12 hours, those games will be live free for on the replay, basically. So we are trying to make the league accessible, but at this point in time, for the league to really take steps and develop, we really need some sort of additional revenue streams, and this is what we thought would be the most beneficial.
Fans counting down the clock, but it will not be an exciting end. So I think Surge will They'll get a possession here if they are going to do the rule correctly, because the turnover happened before the clock hit 0. So Surge should actually get a chance, but new rule, the observer might not know that.
We're still working out the kinks here. But yeah, that's the end of the first quarter. 5-3. Surge with a 2-goal lead.
Do we need a timer in between?
This live broadcast is brought to you by the Premier Ultimate League. The PUL is a 501c6 nonprofit. This league has been community funded since day one, and we are so grateful for the support. We ask that you consider donating to help us continue to transform and fulfill our mission. Head to premierultimateleague.com to donate today. All right, we will see the strike D-line pulling here. No rain coming down, a little bit chilly, not too much wind, and I think the rain has mostly stopped. We see a lot of the umbrellas coming down.
Weather improving. We'll see if that impacts gameplay at all.
At this point,
I will say I do think this league is, the caliber is high enough that certain weather should not impact some things, but I do think it is hard not to play differently.
what's that?
Looks like we lined up on the wrong sides there, so swapping that really quick.
Pull take 2 for the strike here.
That pull just landing just out of bounds there. Really good distance on it though.
The wind's clearly going this way.
The team was able to practice on this field first time ever being here this past week, and there were no lines in the field, and then 4 soccer fields were painted in the time from when we practiced until now playing this game. So no football lines, which we're used to on turf, but some interesting soccer lines to contend with.
Wow, great catch under intense pressure from Strike there. Looks like that's probably going to be a strip.
When I was reading a little bit about the strike, Sarah Monshine, also nicknamed Moon, her fun fact was that she walked onto a college soccer team that Rose Lavelle was on.
No way.
U.S. women's soccer player Rose Lavelle, one of my favorites. And so when I read fun facts before the broadcast, I am like, that one really stood out to me. I was like, wow, that is quite a fun fact.
Always learning new things.
Saranetti with the disc, up to Monshine.
We have our little 21 versus 21 matchup right there.
Monshine tries it out to Jane Cook, and it is successful.
Wow.
Seemed like a little bit of a high stall situation. Morse had a good mark trapping Monshine, but Cook was able to break free from her defender and find the whole end zone open just for her to play in.
And that's a really important break for Strike there, bringing the game within 1. And a nice cross-field bladey throw. Very difficult to catch. That's a really impressive play there from Strike. Wow, look at that arc.
Yeah, Monshine just sort of waits till the defender isn't looking, or Cook waits till the defender isn't looking and takes the space really well. It was nice for Monshine to see her and put it up.
So far, very entertaining first 14 minutes of the game.
The pull's already looking better both directions and from both teams. Sitting higher, going farther, going longer. Certainly seems to be improved from some of the weather.
Absolutely.
Another look at the Strike D-line zone here. So they play it from their D-line, or their O-line plays zone D, and now their D-line is playing their zone D as well.
You can see Surge moving up the field pretty quickly here.
Normile over to McKenna,
And that
back
zone,
to Normile,
that zone seems to have transitioned into a
back to McKenna,
person.
out to Milligan, McKenna to Maroon, just outside the goal.
Wow.
Milligan waiting there for something, and Sarah Hiernick gives her exactly what she seems to be looking for.
Really good patience on the goal line, which can be hard. As a player, I definitely at times struggled with that, but no issue for Milligan there.
That's one of those where the coach in me is just picky, and I'm like, you could swing the disc, you could use the whole other part of the field, but I'll take that over giving it to a sure receiver and no turnover there.
The goal's a goal.
Gina Weary is a sponsor for the Surge season, returning as our title sponsor for the 4th year. Gina has been playing Ultimate in the Paddock community for over 30 years, When you're ready to buy or sell a home in Philadelphia, contact Gina at ginaweary.com, Wherry.
Another zone here from Surge.
Strike having no trouble finding open players in space. Still really tight. Do you see how everyone in the field is within 10 yards? You're deep in a zone. Tell me, like, that's probably what you dream for. You're like, yeah, sure, play in this tight space.
Oh, yeah. As a defender, like you said, I used to play a lot of deep. I loved kind of cheating closer to where the action was and trying to steal a D.
Yeah, I feel like some of that tighter space in the field allowed for that away shot to go to Beeman Weber. They can pull it down with a lot of room to run, with not a ton of contesting defenders nearby. But as we're looking at it from this view up here, it really looks like they're playing in only 10 to 20 yards at a time, and there isn't a lot of stretching the field in either direction.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that is by design and how much of that is just how the game is flowing. But a really nicely worked goal from Strike there. Talking about the weather, Dre, what would you say your favorite weather to play in is?
I like the heat. I don't mind heat at all.
Yeah.
Rain is annoying. Cold is annoying. But, you know, this isn't too bad. But I'm great when it's warm out.
You take what they give you, right?
Yeah. Normile to center the disc here. Normile mostly playing home games for Surge this year, so you might not see her at some of the away games, but happy to have her for even a couple games playing. Has been a World Games player, has won club championships. Really, really great player, living in Pittsburgh. And we've got a lot of Pittsburgh players on the roster this year. As Normile shoots it too, Taylor Conroy, but a really nice D there by Sarah Monshine. Read it the whole way.
It's a really tough play to make, and she read it really perfectly.
Cook with the disc.
Linda's hunting for another D. That pass just a little bit behind the receiver.
Saranidi can't connect there. Back to the Surge O-line. Carolyn Normile hitting Linda Morse. Called not in. To Sarah Hierenet. Normile and Morse, two people that have a lot of chemistry from playing together. They've played on Parcha together. They've played on AMP together. They have been friends since middle school, high school, something like that. Know each other very well, and I think they love these opportunities to play together.
And you can see why. They clearly know each other very well, and they both excel at different areas of the game that complement each other really, really well.
A look here back at the first turnover of this point. Really great D there by Monshine, catching it fully and assertively.
You see quick turnover there from Strike. And then Normile takes another shot deep, and this one works out.
A really great follow there by Sarah Hierenet. Linda Morse catches it on the doorstep, but Hierenet does not say, oh, I'm going to just let that goal happen. She says, you know what, why don't I be sure, sprints into the play, and is allowed to catch it. I always used to say, get in the frame, and I love when players like Hierenet always get in the frame, keep making the extra run, finish the goal for sure. Don't just assume that Linda's catches in. You have to love plays like that.
Well, yeah, Sarah Hierenet is definitely a goal shark, always hunting for the end zone, and you saw it on that point right there.
Beeman Weber controlling the disc in the zone. Byers Simonelli back to Beeman Weber. Really great swing there to open up the field on the break side. Little rush there from number 2 Wood.
I saw what she was going for, and it's a really good idea, and just the execution just fell a little short.
Definitely the right look. Yeah, just could have taken an extra second there, and that probably same throw should have gone off. Another look at the surge offense here. No one really stretching past except Zoe Costanza now pulling Beeman Weber the deep a little further out of the picture. But everyone was so contained in this tight 20-yard
It's getting
area.
even more compressed the further they work down the field. There's finally the outlet. Cross field pass to Lindsay McKenna.
Come on, strike! Get some defense!
Cunningham to Semper.
Wow.
Nice D there by number 2 Wood, who gets it back after her turnover.
Really well read. That's a really smart D right there.
Looking at a person defense here from Surge. We've seen a lot of zones, so it's a little refreshing to see a person. High stall chance here. Byers jumps a little bit too early for that one and sails over the head. Semper to pick up.
I gotta be honest, I would have bet the house on Byers there. She's
Yeah.
fantastic in the air.
Really, really dominant receiver Byers has been for Strike. She was on the Beach Worlds team this past year, Byers Simonelli, and also on Dragon Thrust for many years, and a captain of Dragon Thrust now, I believe.
A veteran of the PUL and very well respected. I know I've played against her and never enjoyed it.
We have a timeout here. The first time out of the game, and probably to do a substitution to put our O-line in.
See the turn from Wood there again. Yeah, just rushing that throw. But getting it back.
Raha Mozaffari has purchased her own dentistry practice, Fishtown Dentistry, in 2021, and has been serving the Philly Ultimate community's teeth and smiles for years. Raha and her team are accepting new clients at their Fishtown location. Find out more at fishtown.dentistry.com.
Highly recommend Raha. She's my dentist as well.
So it was a substitution to put in the Surge O-line here. You will get a look at their offense on a timeout. That's something that when you're a coach like Bobby Roos and you're watching the play develop, you might think, they're not really getting much. Let's see if we can put in our O-line, give them a rep on a must score here.
Freshen things up a little bit. And this is really a new look offense for Surge. I know Dre used to be a staple of the Surge O-line. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this new looking handler group.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think really nice there by Allie Milligan, as you say that. Really creative throw over the top of the zone.
Beautiful hammer.
I love the fact that they can pull Grace Maroon back and forth to hybrid, can handle, can cut. She can do it all. And it's really nice to have a thrower like Carolyn Normile this year.
Wow. Off the tip into the hands of K-Spa.
Defender, strike defender right in the area, makes a play, gets a piece of it. K-Spa able to just kind of stand there and wait for the tip to fall to her. But really good read there by the strike defender. Was in the right spot. Those are the unfortunate ones where
Absolutely.
you kind of were in the right place, did the right thing, got a piece of it. Maybe you catch it instead of tip it there.
And honestly, a fantastic second effort from the defender, but K-Spa was on the third effort there.
A little bit of sun here.
Oh my
I don't
goodness,
know if
yeah.
You can see that as clearly on the stream, but the sun is now out. The rain has officially stopped.
It's gotten a few degrees warmer already.
We have 3:52 left in the second quarter. Beeman Weber with the disc in the middle of the field. Swings it to Dolly. Dolly back to Beeman Weber. Up to Byers Simonelli.
Weber and Byers playing a little catch here, going back and forth.
Really nice break there from Danielle Byers.
Johnson McKee was rushing deep there, but
Byers, another one similar to Grace Maroon in terms of flexible, just can go back handle, can run the up lines, can run the right routes, and also is a really dominant upfield cutter.
Yeah, Byers, I mean, you can put anywhere on the field and she'll succeed.
Byers being covered by her friend and former Westchester University teammate Lindsay McKenna.
I believe that was probably a high stall throwaway.
Moeller with the disc.
Kind of stretching the field.
Former strike player, former Minnesota in Chelsea Semper, went to college here, moved to Minnesota, came back. Happy to have her back in Philly. McKenna up to Costanza, called not in.
Really well
Costanza
worked.
to Alfano. Alfano to McKenna. Another Westchester teammate in there. That's a good follow there from Alfano to get the disc, saying, hey, we don't need to rush a score right now. You can reset the stall, give me the disc, and finds McKenna in the middle of the field. That's good patience and communication there from the Surge D-line.
You can see that's the throwaway there from strike, and Surge doing a really good job of picking up the disc, moving it quickly, and working it 70 yards down to the end of the field without too much trouble. I love playing in transitions. As you know, off a D, I used to love sprinting deep, and I think you can see why there. You can have a really easy goal by moving quickly.
Strike could use a goal here and could get some of these blocks. They feel like they've been in it. It doesn't feel as far away as a 4-point game, but Surge able to keep some of that cushion, both by scoring on their D-line and their O-line.
Yeah, I would say probably efficiency in the red zone would be the difference maker between in the score, but otherwise, like you said, super close, competitive game.
Cook with the disc on the sideline. Cook, a former soccer player as well. High release lefty, or a lefty backhand.
Really good
Right
pressure
with
from
the
Surge's
disc.
defense.
Really nice from Reich to Ekstrom there. Ekstrom back to right. Right to Lee. Lee to Cook. Cook throwing it into some traffic there. Surge, a couple players in the area, able to read that. We have 50 seconds left in the first quarter. Not a buzzer beater again, it is possession, so if Surge doesn't turn the disc here, they will have essentially unlimited time to score them.
That's correct.
Oh, right on cue. Ekstrom catching the D there, catching the block.
Commentator's curse. Strikes again.
Ekstrom, really nice
Wow.
inside break. to Lee.
Wow,
and
beautiful.
Lee finds Cook. Really beautiful throw from Ekstrom there. Opened up the field with tons of yards to the break side and allowed Cook to find the middle of the field. Really nice movement there. And a thrower like Ekstrom that can open up the field like that and just get that many yards, get close to the goal line. Really nice there. So we'll have 20.6 seconds left for the Surge O-line here. Again, not a buzzer beater, something that I had voted against. I liked the buzzer beater, but lost that vote in the board. So, but here we are.
Yeah, we actually went back and forth on that quite a bit. And for me, the only thing that I really wanted was consistency in all 4 quarters. And right now we have consistency with ending on possession.
When do you want to start the clock here?
We see players shedding layers that they've had on all game, probably taking off that damp layer that's probably heavy, so able to move a little better, be a little warmer.
Might have a little more range with their limbs. This PUL also sailing out of bounds, so Norma will center.
Normal to Maroon.
Maroon back to Norma. Wow. Big bid, but unfortunately just couldn't reel that one in. And it looks like Minnesota's going to get one last possession to see if they can score.
No, can't call timeout 0.
Looks like Minnesota tried to call a timeout, but when the clock is 0-0, you actually cannot call a timeout, so that will be a warning, and then we will restart play.
Monshine with the disc on the sideline. Being marked by Morse.
Wow, what a bid.
Great grab there by Serenity.
It's really impressive play on the sideline to keep that disc in. Wow, what a catch.
Really nice grab there by Cook. And a quick score there by Lee.
Strike with a few highlight plays in a row to cap off that point. Not sure what the call is.
It's an injury call. Normile had to take an injury, and we'll have a sub for her. And then Lindsay McKenna will sub on. We will get a replay of that turnover in a couple seconds here to see. It's a little bit maybe controversial of a call there. We will let you be the judge of that when we see the replay. Strike with their break chance here, and this is one of the things that is a little bit weird when you're a fan of other sports and you kind of watch everything and there's a clock and now there's no clock and now there's been 3 calls in a row and then a turnover kind of ends it anticlimactically somewhat.
And that's the end of the first half. That's a really tough way to end the half by a strike there. But let's take a look at this replay and see how much time was left on the clock when Serge turned the ball over in the end zone. Not sure. That's really close. It's really close to call. Either way, the half ends 9-6.
7 o'clock now.
We are coming out of halftime here. All of our fans have moved from the shade side across the field where you can see them on the screen over to the sunny side right under the camera. They didn't all leave at halftime. They are still here but just wanting to soak in the sun. We will see the Surge D-line here with a McKenna pull to start us off.
Looks like that pull just sails just slightly out of bounds.
Minnesota in a bit of a hybrid stack, it looks like. Started with a couple players horizontally, but there's... Maybe it's a full horizontal stack. It didn't look like it there in the beginning, but maybe they saw the zone and chose it. An immediate turn there. Johnson trying to connect with Beeman Weber, but it's a little bit out of the hands, a little bit out of reach.
That's where I wonder, is that the fatigue from playing 2 games in 2 days? Wow, what a bid.
Dang finds Abby Thompson there for the goal.
What a bid.
2 new players to the team this year. Able to connect.
And Surge strikes quickly once again, 10-6.
Those are tough ones for strike there. You're coming out of half, you've had a little bit of a break. It's a little bit pressure, you're kind of ready to go, ready for a bit of a fresh start, and then a disconnect in the first throw can kind of set the tone a little bit.
If you were coaching strike here, what would your message to the team be?
4 goals is very much within reach, and I think I would just make sure we're connecting a little more on these passes. They're looking a lot at the reset, not a ton of upfield. I would maybe look upfield for a glance longer, a second longer, test this Surge zone. They haven't had a ton of games either. See how much the practice has helped them. I think that they're a little bit timid, so they're looking behind them, looking to reset the disc to a handler. I think I would say, go to your cutters. You have height, you have speed, you have catching ability. Let's try and make the Surge D prove that the zone is going to work.
I think that's great advice. Let's see if they take it. So I think that might be the first roller pull of the day.
Nice catch there from Wood. Immediately finds Johnson. Up to Johnson McKee. Trapped on the sideline there. A nice mark by Liv Steinberg. Beeman Weber. To number 2, Wood.
Another assist from Mia Beeman Weber. I believe that is their second assist. They also have 2 goals today.
Strike showing some poise there, going down the sideline. A lot of those were pretty tight throws, tightly contested, not really looking to swing the disc much, just sort of right in front of each other, throwing down the line really, really tightly, and it works out for them. It is hard to defend some of those upline striking right in front of you cuts, and I think they're just sort of taking what's kind of in front of them, not trying to do anything crazy.
Like you said, look downfield. I will say the start of this game was pretty gloomy, and it's so nice to see the sun out. temperature raising a little bit. No more mist and rain. I'm sure the players are enjoying it as much as the fans are.
This is looking more like a person defense from Strike here on the setup. So they played zone a ton in the first half. Maybe the halftime talk was, let's see what they can do one-on-one. Let's make them test us. So I like that switch from a coach. I like the switch to person, putting more players under pressure.
And I'd be asking my players to raise the intensity for sure. If we're going to go person, every throw should be challenged. Every throw should be really difficult for Surge here.
Milligan in the center of the field. Swings to Grace Maroon, who is alone. Maroon, too tight of a window.
And there's the pressure on the reset.
Something that person defense will do is allow that to be more visible, more in sight, more in range. You're closer to a person and not just sort of out in the zone taking away space. Shalgren with the D there. Shalgren also with the disc. Back to Monshine. Monshine fakes the break. Inside to Shalgren.
Really well worked from Moons there.
Hendrickson with the disc. Breaks the mark back to Monshine. Monshine to Lee. Lee, cross field blade. Aiming for Cook. But Poppy Wagner able to see it right over her head and get a piece of that. Nice block by Wagner.
Poppy did just enough there. Those long arms really helping on defense.
Morse.
Big fake.
To Wagner. Wagner to Conroy. Conroy to Maroon.
Not a lot of downfield movement here. See if Surge can open up the field a little bit more.
I think this Strike person defense is jamming Surge right now. They've had a lot of space to work with, and now they're much more contained, much more in short windows. So far, it's working. Monshine will pick up for Strike. Morse on the mark. Serenity to Monshine. Monshine to Lee. Really nice breaking from Strike here. Finds Cook.
Strike right on the doorstep. Let's see if they can be patient offense here to get the clean
Cook
score.
Back to Lee. Back to Cook. To Monshine for the goal. It's a really nice break there from Strike. They pressured the Surge O-line. Surge was not ready to receive that pressure. They had been, it was I think the first vertical stack we've seen from Surge. I don't think they've been playing much vert because you don't really do that in a zone. So they haven't had to run their vert much. Strike tested that and then really patient. Really nice block there, yeah, on the run through. And then really patient from Strike on the goal line. They haven't been as patient on the goal line in the first half, but second half looking better, looking like a different team.
I'm sure they touched on that in their halftime talk, and clearly playing dividends on the field. It's a nice score there from number 21, Monshine.
Surge coaches choosing not to run the same O-line back. A little bit of a long point. They let them play the O and then the D on the turn, and so we'll get a different look for the O-line here for Surge. It will be one of the D lines playing an offensive point. Semper picking up to Cunningham.
We're getting another look at the McKenna-Byers matchup here downfield.
Semper upfield for a lot of yards to McKenna. McKenna, long shot to Steinberg.
Wow.
Another second attempt goal. Really nice block from Monshine there. That's 2 blocks that if Strike catches, that's a block, that's a D, that's a really good one there. Again, right position, right place, right time, good vision. It's just maybe you can't catch it, and it allows the player to get a second chance.
Catch your Ds. I mean, this could be a 1-goal game, and now it's a 3-goal game.
Credit to Surge for sticking with those. The first one was Veronica Coley-Guspalaris, and now Steinberg, staying on that, not giving up on the play, still being able to adjust and adapt.
And that type of concentration is really difficult in the moment as a receiver. So Liv did a great job there, making sure she brought that in off the tip. But I got a feel for Monshine there. I mean, being in the right spot, making the right play, and it's just not enough. I don't know if you can hear on the stream, but crowd going wild for that one.
Dolly receives the pull. Back to Dolly in the center of the field, to Johnson McKee. Johnson McKee flick break, out to Johnson. Johnson finds Regan. Wood with the disc on the sideline.
Doing a good job of staying in bounds.
Rachel Alfano catches the block there, what we've been hoping to see from defenders on these away shots. Nice grab there.
Oof.
And then Epstein choosing to immediately throw the disc. Nice cut there by Costanza. Had a lot of space, but a little bit of a rushed throw off the turn there.
A little too much on it, but good idea.
Tough one. That's another one of those strike reset turnovers. Oh no. Caught the D, couldn't quite catch the score.
Just off the hands. Really good effort though from Serge there. And McKenna gets it right back. That's a beautiful D on Byers.
Cunningham to pick up on the goal line now. Finishes the goal to McKenna. That's bookends, as they say. Get the block and also catch the score. You could see a lot of Surge doing the bookend signal.
Put up the moose antlers.
There's the look at the block there.
Malfano. And then the drop from Alfano as well. And we talked about patient offense in the red zone in the first half, and I think this is a good example of it here. Just eye contact, looking at your receiver. They clearly were on the same page there, and a very simple score for Surge in the red zone.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very underrated, and I don't say this just because this was my role, but Graham Cunningham there, just picking up the disc on the goal line. It seems so easy. You're right on the doorstep. Oh, yeah, like just pick up and throw the assist. That's a tough spot to be.
Absolutely.
You're under pressure. You have to be patient. You have to choose the right thing. So you really look to the quarterback type of player for that. And I like that you can just kind of be patient. It's really nice to have someone like Graham to rely on in that position. Byers with the disc. Byers to Cook.
A little miscommunication there, it seems, on that throw, but a lot more space.
Surge gives it right back with a drop from Moeller.
Wow.
Thrown behind Monshine, but makes a great one-handed snag on the play.
Monshine has been all over the field today. She's having a great game and does a great job adjusting to the wonky throw there and bringing it in for the score.
A little bit rushed here. Stands a little bit out of the reach of Moeller. And then a quick pickup from Cook to Monshine. Behind a bidding defender.
You're doing a great job up there.
Shout out for Dre in the booth from the crowd there.
We did raffle off the chance to have the megaphone. And
oh, wow.
Honestly, if PUL teams are looking for a little bit of a revenue stream, get a megaphone and try and raffle it off to someone to chant during the game. It could work.
I am not surprised to hear that was a big pull for the Philly crowd here. They really love to talk here in Philly.
Strike keeping it close. Another look at our Surge O-line here. Milligan breaking the mark to Veronica K-Spa.
Wow, what a sky. Oh, no. But drops the disc. That's a tough play. Really tough breakthrow from Allie Milligan there, but she executed it really well.
Mon trying to pick up. Backhand to the flick side, out to Simonelli. Oh, bidding.
Massive bid.
Finds Lee. Lee to Cook. Wide open in the back of the end zone. It's a nice quick score and way to capitalize on the play from Strike.
And that is another break for Minnesota Strike. It is only a 2-score game here in Philadelphia. Really impressed by the quick offense there off the turn. And, a little unlucky there by K-Spa, just probably that disc a little bit too wet. It's a nice bid attempt from Grace Maroon there, but just out of reach.
Cook very fast. We've seen her finding the end zone a couple times this game. Really athletic defender, really fast receiver. Love players like that on your team.
Absolutely, and she's playing great for Strike today.
Monshine pulling, Monshine doing every role today.
Just about everything. Deep on defense, pulling, handling, scoring, assisting.
So we saw Carolyn Normile take that injury a couple of plays ago at the end of the first half. She has not been back in the game. I believe she is hurt and may be out for the remainder of the game. So Poppy Wagner is getting more of these O reps than before. You hate to see Carolyn go down. I hope it's not a bad injury, but that does change a little bit of the O-line and throwing prowess of Surge.
Absolutely. Never easy losing a handler such as Carolyn Normile.
Maroon up to Morse. Morse up to Wagner.
Poppy with a nice catch under pressure there from Monshine, I believe. Oh, and there's a hand block. Monshine again showing up in the stat sheet. There's another D.
Wagner shorts the throw a little bit, doesn't really step out and take a full break opportunity, kind of just tries to float it a little bit high, a little bit backhand. Monshine, really nice mark, big physical mark, able to get a piece of that.
Wow, what a catch on the sideline, towing it in. That is inbounds. Byers with an amazing catch there.
Koralchuk Kumro with the disc.
Oh.
A little bit too far for Byers. Has a hand on it, but can't reel it in.
And Linda does a really good job there of forcing Byers to sprint deep with her, and giving the Surge offense a little bit of space right off the turn.
Morse to Milligan. Milligan to Maroon. Maroon had Lindsay McKenna there, doesn't want to take the shot deep, finds Wagner to Semper, back to Wagner.
Two strike defenders, conversion there. Oh,
McKenna had receivers there, a little bit too rushed of a throw, a little bit too low. If there's a little bit more edge, a little bit higher, that could connect to some of the receivers there.
absolutely, but strike gives it right back.
Bit of a sloppy game. Can't blame this one on the conditions now. Can't make any excuses for them now.
Yeah, not in the second half. It's been all sun.
Timeout there for, I believe Minnesota called it.
I think that was Philly's timeout.
Oh, was it Philly?
We talked about this earlier, but I really do think the rest of this game, what it'll come down to is making sure that little things are done correctly. So making sure players are stepping out on those break throws, making sure that they're focusing on every single catch, and making sure that they're securing the desk.
Yeah, with it being a short season, so the PUL is unique in that you try out in January, February, freezing cold. You start your games in April, variant weather, and you end in June. It's such a condensed season. What do you think about that in terms of chemistry and knowing your teammates for such a small season, only over a couple months?
It's hard. It's really, really difficult, especially if you have players coming in from different cities and such. They might only see each other a couple dozen times throughout the season, and that can be really difficult with chemistry. So it's really important that when you are together as a team that you do your best to bond and really make sure that you're working together, learning how your teammates play and what their preferences are on the field.
Cunningham to Semper. Semper over to Dang. Dang to Alfano. Alfano to Semper. Semper, really nice break to Morse.
Oh, Linda wanted that backhand.
Semper to McKenna. Alfano making a really great deep cut. McKenna does not see it, but really well timed. That might have been a good one to take.
Alfano's defender playing on the underside. Wow, what a sky from Lindsay McKenna.
McKenna elevates there over a tight defender in Lee, and Alfano waiting in the end zone, following the play like we talked about earlier with here and net, ready to catch the goal for the sure thing. Those are things that in a tight game, 2-3 goal game, those things end up really mattering. That's how you know, it's those extra couple steps to finish the play, to follow the play, to be in the mix.
Absolutely. Concentration all the way to the end. And that's a beautiful grab from Byers there. Really tough tiptoeing the line there. And here we see Lindsay's catch again over two defenders before quickly dishing it to Ralph in the end zone.
.4 left on the clock. This game clock a little bit off, so it's 24 seconds left in the third quarter. 13-10 game. We will see if the strike O-line is able to keep it, to hold the clock the whole time.
It also looks like Allie Milligan, one of the handlers on Surge's O-line, might also be out with injury for the rest of this game. We'll keep an eye on her.
Johnson with the disc. High release break to the middle of the field.
A nice bit to save the final possession of this quarter.
Pick called. You are able to contest picks, and you are able to go to the observer, but not choosing to.
And I gotta say, it's a three-score game right now. 0 seconds on the clock as we finish this last possession. If Strike can score here, there'll only be a 2-score game. Oh, and they give it away. Just as I'm saying that, I believe that is the end of the third.
There should not be any time left.
Yeah.
Observers are also learning the new rules
of
of the league, taking them a bit to figure it out. Players and observers learning together. But yes.
So the third quarter will end 13-10. 3-goal game going into the fourth.
Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Breakmark Ultimate Apparel. Go to breakmark.com to place your next custom team order or check out the PUL Athlete Collab shops. Gina Weary is a title sponsor of Surge this year. She has been playing Ultimate in the paddock community for over 30 years. When you're ready to buy or sell a home in Philadelphia area, contact Gina Weary at ginaweary.com, Wherry. S1 Medical is a Philadelphia-based medical management company created to help employees when their employees are injured on the job. Heading into the fourth quarter here. Strike will be pulling the disc. Another Monshine pull coming up. This is where you see, like, you're starting on D in the fourth quarter already, no matter what. So finishing that third quarter with a goal would have been really helpful to go within 2.
Very different start to this fourth quarter for sure if they had punched that one in. That pull falling short of the halfway mark.
Still a person defense, but Byers in the lane there, causing some junk.
Allie Milligan back in the game, making a really good effort on the off the tip there, securing the disc.
Milligan to K-Spa. K-Spa to McKenna. Tightly covered by Byers. Lindsay McKenna, long shot to K-Spa. Can't connect, just a little bit too low. A nice look there, had some nice edge. K-Spa was alone, streaking to the end zone. Just couldn't connect, a little bit at her feet.
The vision on that cross field throw was beautiful. K-Spa just couldn't bring it in, unfortunately. But
Another miscue turn there for strike.
right on the goal line.
And one right back from Surge.
Just off the hands of K-Spa once again on the diving attempt.
Byers, nice catch there. Marked by McKenna. Really nice break there from Byers.
We've seen the two of them go back and forth all game, and it's been a really entertaining matchup between the two of them.
Wood over to Byers. Swings it to Fisher. Fisher unleashes
Wow.
it downfield to Cook.
Rips that one deep quickly.
Cook to Monshine. Monshine back to Fisher. Fisher to Cook. Pick called.
Strike right on the doorstep once again with the turn. Unfortunate. Surge looking to break, but missed that throw. I'd say a bit of a messy start to this fourth
Byers
quarter.
and Lee playing catch, with Byers taking a look to Cook. K-Spot in the area, able to put enough pressure on it to make that catch tough, and a foul called.
I have a feeling the Philly fans don't agree with that call.
Injury here from K-Spa. We'll need another sub. Dang will come in.
And it looks like that foul call was retracted. K-Spot with a really impressive D there. Getting big, knocking it down.
Milligan over to Dang. Dang to Morse. Here in a nice timed undercut. Morse doesn't like it. Dang to McKenna. McKenna to Semper. Semper too far from Maroon. What do you think these turns are? Do you think it's like chemistry too early in the season? Is it just a little bit of the game's been long? It's just like they're like a little too far. No one's really hitting each other. Is it the type of cuts?
Feels like a lack of concentration to me, and maybe that's because of the change in the weather and players on both teams a little fatigued at this point. Not really too sure what's going on, but I'm sure they'll clean it up to end this game here. Strike just that.
Looks like a call is going to bring that back.
This might be the second or third call that has brought back a strike goal.
And they're calling it a goal.
Not sure what happened there, but that is a goal. And we are within 2, Dre, going into the last 8 minutes of this game.
Yeah, I think that change that Strike made from zone to person defense has thrown off Surge enough that they haven't been able to cut through as much. They haven't been able to be as open in space. It's cut down the way they've cut, so they played one way the whole first half and haven't been ready to switch that up.
And also
Normile being hurt. Is that what
I was
you're
just about to say.
Same page.
Yeah.
You can say it. Go ahead.
No, Normile's like such an important player and handler. It's really tough not having her on the field, and I think we're seeing some of that play out for Surge.
O-lines most of the time are only between 7 to 9 players a lot of the time, so someone gets hurt and can't play for the rest of the game, you're down to 7 to 8 players, not many subs there, so having to either go to D-lines or play O-lines back-to-back presents a strategy decision and coaching.
Throws off the balance of the O-line, and I know there's a lot of sameness that's important to them.
Okay, so we are hearing that the Minnesota coach is invoking a type of integrity rule and overruling the goal called in favor of his team. Again, we're up in a booth, so we're getting all this information. It's a little bit piecemeal, but we were told that the coach from Minnesota said that the observers made the wrong call, went to the observer and said, we will not take that goal. It was made in error, so let's bring the disc back to where the goal was thrown, and I guess give it to Surge.
Not quite sure, but this is certainly something you'll only see in Frisbee, and that's part of the beauty of the game.
The beauty of the game, totally not the word I was going to use, but I appreciate you using it so I don't have to think of one.
What should the clock be?
We'll show you the replay here to see, along with us in real time, if you understand maybe why the coach said this is not a goal and should be called back. So there's a stoppage from the mark, from Sarah here, and that on the mark calls something.
So it looks like we're going to come back, and it's going to be Strike's disc still. Score back to 13-10.
And now they're not going back to the people that were on the field when the goal was scored and caught. They are playing with the people that were out there already. I've been playing a long time. I've never seen this.
I think this is my first time as well, Dre.
Nice mark there from Alvey, making that throw tough.
I will say,
Johnson McKee with the disc to Johnson, over to Beeman Weber. Go ahead.
a lot of spirit from the Minnesota coach there, knowing something happened that he didn't agree with, and calling it back in a tight game. It's really hard to do as Strike get that goal.
Ends up in their favor anyway. It is back to 13-11.
A nice layout to cap that point off. Ball doesn't lie? Question
Double
mark?
score, as they say.
And actually, a lot of teams do practice that in practice. They do double score points to really kind of hound home the red zone offense, and Strike executed that to a T there.
I used to love that. The first time I encountered that was on AMP, and you only could score on the second score. So you would score once, you had to double score, or else you got 0 points.
And that's in practice, and that really, really shows you how important red zone offense is to Frisbee teams and O-lines specifically.
And it helps to not take the easy way out too. It teaches you that you don't just get to make one goal. You have to get two. You have to prove that you've earned it.
Absolutely.
So we will see a surge O-line here with McKenna on it. I believe her first time crossing over this game. She's been playing all of the D points otherwise. But again, Normile got hurt. So we have Hiranet, Semper, Morse, McKenna, K-Spa, Maroon, and Conroy. And then we have Monshine on the pull for strike.
Two-score game with 7:45 left to go in the game. Should be an exciting end to this one, folks. Quick turn by Surge here.
Semper just throwing it behind Maroon there. Monshine in the right place, able to catch it.
Once again, Monshine with another D. Wow. Wow. I think that was a hand block. Not quite sure from McKenna there. And then a great effort by the strike receiver to try and catch it off the hand block, but unfortunate, just out of her reach.
Semper and McKenna playing catch in the backfield. Hiranet gives them a little bit of a break. Upfield to K-Spa.
Diving, rolling catch from K-Spa back in the game after her injury.
K-Spa not one to be shy on taking some of those. Had Conroy for some steps, but Monshine
Once
in the area.
Again. How many Ds in a point can she get?
Serenity with the disc. Over to Lee. Morse, good mark there, not allowing the break to Cook, who had a lot of yards. Lee testing it out for Serenity, able to catch it in space.
Wow. What a throw. And it's a one-score game at this point. That throw was weighted perfectly for the strike receiver. Well, all of a sudden, it's a one-score game here in Philadelphia.
One-score game. Each team has one timeout left. We'll see if they're going to use those to sub, if they're going to use them for a high-pressure situation. You want that as a coach going into the fourth quarter, especially in a tight game. Having that timeout is really helpful. It can help save a possession. It could help give your team a breather if you want the same people on the field. There's so much you could do with it, so it's a nice position for both teams to be in, to have one going into the fourth quarter.
Absolutely.
Into the final minutes of the fourth quarter.
Really, really exciting game so far.
We will get a look at another iteration of Surge O-line. Cunningham, Alfano, Epstein, Costanza, Steinberg, Dang, and McKenna back-to-back. We have Monshine on the pull. No change there. That's staying the same.
Lee Byers is out there.
Cunningham will pick up to Dang. Dang to McKenna.
McKenna directing traffic. Finds Steinberg on the sideline.
Back to Dang. Cunningham up the line. Back to Dang. Shadow teammates in past years. Danged back to Cunningham. Really nice break there from Cunningham.
Wow.
Called out by the observer. Steinberg on the goal line.
It's a beautiful break throw from Cunningham there.
McKenna to Costanza to make the score 14-12.
And that's that patient red zone offense we've been talking about all game. Really well worked from Surge there. And in this fourth quarter, it's going to be really important to make sure you're taking advantage of every single time that you're in the red zone.
Dang in a good position back there, sort of behind the play, but ready for it with yards, able to get the disc in the center and switch the field there.
Yeah, that type of horizontal movement really opens up the field in the deep space, and you see a workout there for the Surge score.
Great work, Surge.
We'll see what defense Surge chooses to run here. When you're up 2, you might want to run the clock. A zone could help do that. If you go person, you're also putting pressure on them. So
yeah,
we'll see what they choose to do here, because you kind of want to run the clock a little bit, but you also want the disc back and a chance to score again.
Looks like a zone.
Beeman,
Surge back in
Weber
it.
to pick up. Finds Johnson. Johnson to Dolly. Dolly back to Johnson. Over to Beeman Weber. Beeman Weber slices through the zone up to Johnson McKee. McKee back to Beeman Weber.
Striker really happy just moving the disc side to side and gaining yards. Not a lot of pressure on the disc at all from Surge.
Surge goes into a person defense in the red zone here. Took off the zone. Byers. Inside throw.
And there's a quick score. Wow.
Goal caught by Johnson. Under pressure, tight catch, had to make a physical play, absorb some contact there. Don't think it was a foul, but some contact and light pressure on that catch. Keeping it within 1.
And that was a really important red zone offense there. And Strike does a good job managing it, taking their time, being chilly, and working the disc into the goal. Johnson also having a really good game, I think. A score there, and I think doing some really good work in the handler space as well. The Philly fans cheering on their team and this O-line.
Could use a little bit of energy from the crowd. I mean, that's the home field advantage. I feel like they're picking and choosing, but not a ton of chance, but some steady energy from the crowd. Ekstrom on the pull there. Alvey picking up the disc to Semper. Semper to Maroon. Back to Semper.
See McKenna streaking deep there. Grace thought about it for a moment, but holstered.
Alvey up to Maroon for a lot of yards. Milligan. Alvey to Morse.
Surge is doing a really
Semper.
nice job.
To McKenna.
See another Lindsay McKenna goal there. Surge has done a really good job, not only working the disc up the field patiently, but also burning clock, which at this point in the game, they really want to be doing.
Yeah, that was nice there. They weren't just going up the same sideline. They were able to swing it a couple different times. Good motion in the front of the sack and the handler movement. Allow it to swing back to the middle, over to the side. Not really trying too hard to keep it in one place. Willing to break the mark.
That was something that you were always excelled at when you were playing for Surge, and something I appreciated as a teammate of yours.
Appreciate that. Pride myself on that. 3:17 left in this fourth quarter. Strike down 2. Should try and push the pace a little bit to come back to 2 goals, at least just to tie it. They can't be taking a lot of time. They should maybe look to take a strike. The clock is not in their favor at this time, so a little bit of aggression or a little bit more acceleration on this scoring would be key.
Nice bid from Zoe Costanza there, but Byer did a great job bringing that one in. But yeah, they got to take some shots.
Beeman Weber over to Wood. Wood to Dolly.
See Philly back in person-to-person defense, and it works out there.
Really nice D by Steinberg. Really nice run through, just able to get the edge. That's something that tight person coverage will do for you. There was a timeout called by head coach using his last timeout of the game. Bobby Roos will choose to put the O-line in instead of letting that D-line play it out.
I have a feeling what's going to happen in this team talk for Bobby Roos and Serge is really going to stress the fact that they need to move the disc side to side, like we've been saying, burn some clock, do everything they can to run the time down for the rest of this game.
Steinberg out of Penn State has played AMP for a couple of years. Don't look at the clock running down on the screen. That is not correct. There's 2:20 still left in the fourth quarter. It is not running. His timeout is still underway.
We see some very familiar faces back out onto the field for Serge.
This is the age-old debate. Do you let that D-line play a little longer? Did they look like they were in trouble? Or do you want your O-line in this position to get practice in an earlier game? Second game of the season, give the O-line a chance, because this could come down to a one-point game. A lot of games last year were 1 point. Maybe you want your O-line to be able to convert under pressure when the stakes are pretty high.
Absolutely.
I know some D-line folks are usually like, oh, but give us a chance. we can do it too. Wagner with the disc in the center of the field. Over to Semper. Double cut there. Maroon and Morris taking up the same space, but here Net timing her cut really well for yards. Back to Semper. Over to Wagner. Morse. Away shot to McKenna.
Wow. Well, we talked about moving side to side. That was straight down the field. Big hub from Linda Morris there. And if Serge can get a score here, this might kind of put a cap on this game.
Really nice break there from Grace Maroon to Lindsay McKenna. That's one of the things about having a player like Maroon, McKenna, Morse, these players that have played Worlds, have played multiple club teams, have lots of gold medals between them. You give yourself, you want the risk to go to them. You want the chance to go to them.
Wow, what a risky throw, but it works out with a Serge goal. I believe that was Grace Maroon pulling that one down.
Joint catch there from Hiernette and Maroon. 3-goal game with 1:16, 1:17 left. Almost impossible to come back. I won't say it is fully impossible. I've seen crazier things, but almost impossible at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Strike needing to increase the pace of the game and taking some shots, and that's doubly true now with only just over a minute to go in the game.
In fourth quarter here, when you need legs, when the game is so tight, you are sort of thinking about, we're coming off of a game to New York. We flew here. We drove from New York. There's been a lot of flights and drives and playing back-to-back. They're still very much within the game the whole time. It hasn't been far apart, but you wonder if it comes down to these final minutes and these final points, if some of that travel logistics can play a factor.
Yeah, absolutely. And credit to Strike, they played a fantastic game today. They came in with a pretty clear game plan of how they wanted to structure their offense and defense, and I think they did a really good job. Just not quite enough. And I will say, not only is this a back-to-back for Strike, but this is probably one of the harder back-to-backs in the PUL period.
Yeah, Gridlock, obviously a very tough opponent, a former champion. Playing them, and it is your first games of the season. You're on the road, back-to-back games.
Being thrown right into the fire here, Strike.
Alvey to Moeller. Rao catching under pressure to
Really
Thompson.
nice catch there from Gwen.
Thompson back to Moeller. Moeller to Alvey. Over to Steinberg. A little bit out of reach for Graham. Had two hands on it, but a little bit of a tough catch. 18 seconds left.
Couldn't bring it in, and Strike will get a chance to score.
Why not just take a shot? You got to be ripping him at this point. Got us. Reminder, no buzzer beater. Even though the crowd is very into counting down the clock, it will be possession. So on a turnover is when the game will end.
Wow, what a bid from number 11. I believe that's Johnson. And this game might be over after this point, but really good reps for both teams here.
Wood on the end zone. Strike able to score, make it a 2-point game. That point diff could matter later on. They lost by 5 to Gridlock yesterday, 2 to Surge today, but a 16-14 victory, making Surge 2-0 and Strike 0-2 on the season.
What a game from both teams here. A really impressive display from Strike. Again, on this second night on a back-to-back. And Surge did a great job handling them, and they're very talented players. So really fun game overall. Lots of bids, which I always love to see. Dre, if I can put you on the spot here, who would you pick for player of the game?
Monshine for Strike. It's not hard if I had to pick someone for Strike. For Surge, I might have to look at the stats. Steinberg had a great game. McKenna played well.
For sure. So you see some of these highlights, some of these bids on the screen here. And we talked about it right at the beginning of the game. We knew people were going to be hitting the deck, and yeah, we definitely saw a lot of that.
Strike definitely making them work the whole game.
Oh, here's one of those tip scores.
Thank you for joining us for week 3 of the PUL. You can stream games on the Premier Ultimate League YouTube channel next weekend.
Dre, thank you for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, great to have you. PUL Commissioner, had her on the spot. Don't know if we had any comments or questions in the chat, but we'll get them answered sometime.
We'll get them answered at some point. Yeah, absolutely.